Alright, this is a Urevo, however you pronounce that, underdesk treadmill or walking pad, and as you can hopefully hear, at least I hope my phone's microphone is picking this up, it's making some pretty awful noises, and as the speed increases, the noise just gets faster. I'm going to turn it off so we don't have to listen to it. I contacted support about this, and their response was basically just let the treadmill run for a few minutes and the noise will stop. Which, to be fair, is correct. When I'm walking on this thing, after a couple minutes, that noise goes away, but then the next time I start the treadmill up, the noise just comes right back. So I am going to, in this video, pop the cover off and see if I can actually find the source of the noise, since it does sound like it's coming from somewhere under the cover here, as opposed to farther back on the belt. I got a bunch of comments on the first video I posted about this, which didn't really have the solution. I was just asking, or mentioning the problem and asking if anybody else had a solution, and some people in the comments mentioned that they had taken the cover off and maybe oiled something or like found something stuck in there. So I am going to see, I've got like a bunch of dust bunnies and dog and cat hair in my office or something. Maybe there's some hair wrapped around things in there, or maybe something is loose and need to be tightened. So let's unplug the power. Always a safe thing to do when you are going to take the cover off and work inside an appliance and check things out. So I flipped it over. First, a note on getting it apart. It looks like, if I zoom in, there are screws holding in these rubber feet, and then there are a bunch of recessed screws that look like they are hopefully just holding on the kind of bottom cover here that I will be able to pop off, and then there's more screws kind of holding on the sides that look like all this stuff gets a little more structural back here with the belt. So hopefully I don't have to mess with those. I'm hoping I can just take out these recessed screws and pop the cover off. I'm not going to film myself doing that, but I'm going to put the camera down for a minute and then report back on the ease of removing the cover. Okay, update number one is that I have removed all of the recessed screws that I could find, and this thing does not seem like it wants to budge at all. Unfortunately, sometimes plastic cases like this kind of have those one-way tabs that are designed to lock into place, and then you can't really get them off without breaking them. I'm hoping that is not the case here. I did not remove the screws on the rubber feet yet because it looked like the cover just kind of slid around those and they were not holding it down, but I'm going to take those out next and see if removing those is necessary to get the cover off. Okay, update number two. I was wrong. The feet were holding the cover on after having removed the 2 feet. It looks like, I'm going to put my phone down and do this carefully with both hands, but the cover should now come off, so we will see what's under there. So I got the cover off, and perhaps not surprisingly, given how infrequently I vacuum my office, this thing is completely full of hair. There is a giant wad of it here. You can see where we have the output, if I can zoom in, of the motor shaft connected to a belt that drives the main treadmill belt. And then over on the other side of the motor, we have what looks like a cooling fan that has kind of a spiral of hair. I don't know how well my camera's focused in there. That got sucked in and is all twisted up. And then there's a bunch of hair. There's not moving parts over here, but there's hair on the electronics and everything. So I think step number one is definitely going to be to get a vacuum cleaner and actually clean out all of this hair. And then I'm going to assemble everything and see if that gets rid of the noise. And if it does, then I guess I need to start vacuuming my office more often. So I've got this propped up on its side and plugged it back in, which again, always be very careful when doing that with an appliance. Don't touch any of the wiring when it is live, just so I can see if I have eliminated the sound before I go ahead and put the case back on. Do the 3, 2, 1 countdown. There we go. And you can immediately hear that I am still getting the squeaking sound. I don't think I'm getting the thumping I was before. I'm going to turn this off so we don't have to listen to it. There were really two different sounds. There's the squeaking, which now that I have the case off and I'm looking, sounds like it is coming more from the top side of the motor with the cooling fan there. And then I would get a periodic thumping sound, which based on what I saw was probably hair or dirt or debris stuck in this belt, kind of making a thump as it went around the pulley each revolution, because that was a much lower frequency. But then there's still this kind of higher pitched, more continuous squeaking that sounds like it's coming from the motor. So I checked the manual. It has instructions for lubricating the belt. It does not say anything about lubricating the motor, and figuring out how to disassemble, clean, and lubricate A motor is really a topic for a separate video. If you have any advice or suggestions for how to do that, or a link to a good video about how to do it, please go ahead and leave a comment below this video, because I've never done that myself, and I did not want to just kind of start spraying lubrication or dropping oil in there without really knowing what I'm doing. There's a risk that liquid oil can just make dirt and dust stick in the wrong places. So I've heard a suggestion to use graphite powder, but again, not totally sure exactly where to apply it. So I would like to get rid of that squeaking. Again, nothing in the manual about how to do it. If you have a comment or a suggestion or other thoughts on this video, similar issues with the same treadmill, or if you've contacted support and had them tell you anything about it, please go ahead and let me know in the comments. Thank you.